As you're editing a document, Word automatically saves versions of the document at an interval you specify. By default, every 10 minutes Word checks to see if anything has changed, and if it has, creates a version to capture those changes. In Word 2010, you can review those prior versions, compare them to the current version, and return to a prior version if you need to do so. We've been editing this file for a couple of hours. I haven't saved my changes, and I know that's not a good practice. Word has been assiduously auto-saving this previously saved document every 10 minutes. The settings that control autosave are available backstage. So let's go to File and choose Options. And in the Save category, you'll see two settings that you care about. One is the instruction to let Word know that it should autosave and how frequently it should do it. The second setting says to keep the very last autosave version if I close this file somehow without saving, which allows me to recover many unsaved documents, as you'll see later in this chapter. The autosave versions of your documents are listed under Info. Here was an autosave version from 223 today, 333, and 355. Click any version on the list to open it in a new window. If I wanted a version that was most recent, but not what's on my screen now, I could try this one. If I wanted a version from right after the last time I saved, probably, I could choose one that was much earlier. Perhaps I'd like one somewhere in the middle. Notice that it opens, it tells me that it's an autosave version and that a newer version is available. This is to make sure that I don't accidentally edit this document thinking that it's the current document. I have a couple of choices of what I can do here. I can compare this version to the current version of the document. When I choose Compare, Word lays out a side-by-side comparison. Here's the original document. Here's the compared document, or the earlier version. And there were 5 changes that were made during that time. 2 insertions, 3 deletions, no moves or formatting. And notice that they are summarized here. Here's an insertion. I can go see that in place simply by clicking on it. Here's where something was deleted, and I can move from one of these choices to the other in order to review them. I can actually choose one of these 2 documents here, but it's easier once I've done this comparison to simply close the comparison. It's a brand new window, and it asks me, do I want to save the changes made to compare result 4? Don't save them. I'm back now, and notice where I am. I'm in my autosave version. The other choice I could make is I could say, based on that comparison, this is the version I want to return to. And if I do, I can click Restore. If I restore this autosave version, this is going to overwrite my current document, which will discard any changes I've made since 333 earlier today. Another choice is actually to save this version and to give it a totally different name, which would allow me to keep both my current version with the changes that I've made and this version of the document, which I don't particularly want to lose. 2 good choices here. One is to restore back to this version, or the other is to save this version separately because there are features in it that I want to keep. It's often a difficult decision to decide, do I want to go back to something that's 2 hours old because it had some good features that I managed to get rid of, but you lose so much work that I've done since that time. So saving gives you that interim option. You can always use Compare directly from the Review menu in order to compare then the document you've saved with another document. As you're closing these various versions, make sure to pay attention to what you're being asked so you don't accidentally close a document that you don't intend to close. But it's asking me, do I want to save this autosave version? And if I say don't save, it's still here. I haven't lost anything. With autosave enabled, versions provide a safety net that allow me to review or even restore prior versions of the document while I'm working on a long editing session. This is another cool Word 2010 feature.